Hello everyone, welcome back, and this is my 2006 Volkswagen Polo 1.9 TDI. And so what I'm going to be doing today is doing a complete overview of the car, so driving it, what's under the bonnet, everything else with this car you're going to see in this video. So let's jump straight in. First off, I'm just going to apologize for the weather. It's been a little bit all over the place recently, so it's been pretty hard to time this and try to get good filming conditions. So I think this is the best we're going to do. Got a little break from the rain at the moment, so as long as it doesn't rain during this, we should be all good. Front, obviously this car is very basic. So you've got your halogen bulbs. That one's a bit foggy. I just got them both defogged though, so I'm going to have to do that one again. I've also color corrected the trim because when I got this car it had black trim everywhere, so I just figured I'll just color correct it. Makes the car look a little bit better. Down there obviously you got your fake vents either side, and then obviously your grille and a little open duct just there. But apart from that, the front is very bland, looks like a mini Golf Mark 5 almost, a little bit like a Touran and other Volkswagen models from this era. Ignoring the bland front end, obviously moving around to the side where you have another bland looking panel in general. There's nothing really going on at the front or anywhere else on this car, to be honest. The thing I will mention is I also color corrected the side little thing here, don't know what it's called, but anyway, I color corrected the trim. I color corrected the trim, and then down here you don't have a side skirt or anything, it just kind of loops over. And yeah, another very basic looking side on this car. Only difference is I've put a set of 16-inch BBS Snowflake wheels on it, so genuine OEM Volkswagen wheels. These were sold on the Mark III Golf VR6s, and overall I think they're a pretty big improvement over the standard wheels that come on this car. I bought the car, the tyre tread on the stock Steelies was not great because this car is a base spec. It's a Polo 1.9 TDI 74 kilowatt trend line, and that's very unusual because I don't like base spec cars, but I figured I don't really want to get a Pacific because the Pacific's basically the same car. They didn't really change anything. Maybe I would have done it if they sold the Pacific over here with a leather interior, but we only got the cloth interiors on the Polos over here. The interior of this car is just about as bland. You don't really have much going on here. You've got the Valeo inspired tail lights here, but of course they're halogens. It would have been cool if they made an LED version, obviously, like the Passats and the Jettas and the OEM Plus Golf tail lights that you can get. But anyway, you've got this massive rear window here, which kind of, it's actually very big compared to what the whole side of the, like it's half the rear of the car, which is crazy. And it has this little divot there, which is pretty funny. Obviously Polo 1.9 TDI badging, because you need to let everyone know that you drive the most reliable thing in this bloody planet. Moving down, obviously I've color corrected the trim here as well. And then down here, you don't really have anything. You've got your little teeny tiny exhaust pipes, and that's about it. So yes, from an exterior point of view, this car really does not have much to offer. It's very bland. It just looks like a traffic car, to be honest. It is a little bit of a traffic car, I can't lie, but the real magic is under the bonnet, which I will show you now. There are three main reasons why I bought this car. It's practical because it's easy to park, it's fuel efficient because it's a diesel, and it's reliable because it's a 1.9 TDI. This thing is a beast. This will literally survive anything you throw at it. Run it without oil, no problem. It's never heard of rod knock in its life. Run it without coolant, cool. It doesn't know how to overheat. This thing is bulletproof. It is actually renowned as one of the most reliable Volkswagen engines ever, and I'm sure you've seen all the memes and stuff that people have done of the 1.9 TDI. It's the most reliable bloody engine in this damn planet. I swear to God, Toyota's got nothing on the 1.9 TDI. This is more specifically, this is the AZR, something like that, 1.9 TDI. So, as I mentioned earlier, producing a whopping 74 kilowatts. But believe me, driving it, you wouldn't think that it's got 74. You think that it's got somewhere 110, 120-ish mark, because it actually goes. The amount of torque this thing has, I think it's got 250 newton meters of torque or something, which isn't much, but I mean, for what this car is, that's similar to the GTI, the 1.8T. Actually, that might be a lie. I'm not entirely sure on the facts with that. Yes, apart from the fact that it is a 1.9 TDI, there is really not much to show around here. You've got your battery there, your intake there. So you got, yeah. And then that's really about it. And obviously the world's dirtiest looking coolant bottle ever. So apart from that, it's just a regular looking engine bay. Despite this car's below average appearance, it has probably one of the most reliable powertrains you can get in a German vehicle. But anyway, let's move into the interior of this base spec bitch. And as you can see, we've got cloth inserts on the door cards here. Cloth interior, that one's got a massive rip in it. And you've got a rubber steering wheel and a cup holder, which is missing. It still works, amazingly. These are known to fail very easily. But yeah, it still works. It's just missing the little cover there. So anyway, ignore that. The glove box doesn't work either. There are a little bit of, there are a few cosmetic defects. Also, the dashes on the 9N3 Polos are known for cracking all the time. So, of course, this one's cracked. I've upgraded the head unit, so it's now an Apple CarPlay head unit. It's a cheap AliExpress $42 head unit. It works surprisingly well for what I paid for it, to be honest, and I didn't need anything crazy because this is my work car. It's my little run around. I don't need to be spending heaps of money on this car when I can be spending it on one of my other cars. So the seats, they're comfortable enough. They're not very supportive around the corners, but look, they're seats. They act as a seat, and they're not like sitting on a rock. It's actually somewhat comfortable. I think one of the funniest things I noticed with this particular Polo is that obviously it's a trendline, it's a base model. So you've got speakers in the front. So I think, yeah, you've got your ones up there and then the ones in the door card. But if you swing around to the rear, yeah, you've got your speaker grille, but there's nothing inside it. There's no speakers in the rear, even though they put a grille there, which is quite funny. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of amusing. But I think what I should do quickly is give it a little start up, because I know how badly you want to hear that 1.9 TDI. That was pretty funny. We've got a little bit of a soot mark there. Absolutely fantastic. Just goes to show just what the 1.9 TDI really is. It's a fantastic engine. I mean, if we step into the driver's seat, this steering wheel, it's comfortable, but this one needs to be replaced badly. Yeah, they really do not age well, these rubber steering wheels, but it's still very comfortable to hold. So that is always a positive. Up here, obviously it's a diesel, so only revs to 4,500 RPM. And then you've got the kilometer reading, which is 275,000 Ks. Obviously, it's just left the dealership at that point. You're literally running on dealer Ks. Like, this car will last forever and ever. This will go over 1 million Ks if I really wanted it to. Obviously, you got your climate control settings here. Just very basic Volkswagen. I upgraded the shift knob, so this is one out of a Polo 6C. So it feels a lot nicer than the ruddy stock shifter that was in it. Handbrake here, so you can do some hectic handbrake turns if you are feeling particularly adventurous. And then up here, there's so many blank switches because obviously this guy has no options. You've got a window defogger, and that's about it. This car doesn't even have traction control, which is quite funny. However, it does have a check engine light, which is an upgrade over the Golf Mark IV. The headliner has seen better days. It's currently held up by thumbtacks, and it's not in it's not in a particular great shape. I don't think the previous owner of this car really did look after it. That is quite disgusting. I have no idea what that is. It wasn't me. It was the previous owner. But yeah, the rear seats, look, they're just about as comfortable as the front seats. So take that as you will. Another thing that concerned me when I was looking at this car is this service sticker is a little bit crusty and a little bit old. And then I found out it has not been serviced at Volkswagen since 2007, which is a little bit concerning. Apparently, the previous owner of this car was a mechanic and he looked after it. And look, I'm going to take his word for that, because even a 1.9 TDI would not make it to 275,000 Ks without a little bit of basic maintenance. So yeah, but apart from that, 3-pedal setup, because you can only get the Trendline, and I think even you can only get the 1.9 TDI Polos over here with a manual transmission. I don't actually think they sold them as autos, only the petrols, which is a little bit crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'm done talking about this car pretty much. Practicality in the boot, it's pretty small, but you can fold down these seats, so it's a decent amount of storage area. You don't need too much in a car of this size anyway. So look, that's quite all right. All is well on that front, but I think what we should do now is take this thing for a drive. Okay, so you join me with my below average film setup again. So I apologize how shaky this is going to be, because I already know it's going to be pretty shaky, but let's fire this beauty into life. Seatbelt on, handbrake off, put it into first. Let's see what this thing's capable of. So let's bang it a UE, because why not? You can hear that clicking. That's my front left CV joint on its way out. Apart from that, there's no problems, I swear. Anyway, 1.9 TDI, here we are driving it along at 40 k's an hour in third gear. Because it's a diesel, it's got short gear ratios, just so you can get the maximum acceleration off the line, because you're gonna need it. But anyway, so driving along, look, there's not really much to say about it. It's relatively comfortable, actually. The standard suspension on this car is pretty comfortable, so it drives along pretty nicely. There is a little bit of interior noise, but things made out of tin foil, so it's to be expected. Steering wheel, obviously, I mentioned it's very nice to hold on to. Yeah, I mean, I'll wait for a straight to give it a little bit, but I'll put the window down actually because I'm dying. Kind of gear into the corner. Look, it corners pretty well, even with a standard suspension. With the upgraded wheels, the BBS Snowflakes, because they're a little wider, so it definitely grips to the road a lot better than the terrible little eco tires that this car was sold to me with. The BBSs do actually make a difference in this car, which I think is pretty important considering this car does not have traction control. So if you buy a 1.9 TDI, throw it on BBS Snowflakes. You won't regret it. Drop a gear, you'll be able to hear that 1.9 TDI screaming in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, crunch the gears there. Even better. There's a little bit of a problem with third gear. It's not my shifting. The linkages need to be adjusted because it always crunches in third, and it's not me. I promise it's not me. It needs the linkages adjusted. That's quite simply it. But yeah, no, it actually, look, it's not as impressive as my stage 2 Golf R, but I mean, it gets off the line. If you're stuck at a set of lights next to a Mazda driver, you can be sure that they will be left. It spins the wheels because it's not got any traction control. It's still spinning them. Oh, crunched again. Oh my gosh, this car's actually a lot of fun to daily. Yeah, the reason I bought this car was to daily it because I got 4 cars, but none of them are really dailyable. I've kind of ruined all of them, so I just needed a car that people can get into, and I don't care if it gets absolutely destroyed. And this car is perfect for that, because this car is now what? How old would it be? 18 years old. So it doesn't feel like an 18-year-old car. It really doesn't. It still has a lot of modern luxuries. Obviously, I'd highly recommend upgrading the head unit. Maybe not to this terrible AliExpress quality one, but I mean, for $42 and it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong. If you do the head unit upgrade, then that's really all you need to do to it. Maybe throw a subwoofer in it and some rear speakers if you want it to sound a little better. And the sound system, the stock one, it's average. It's just an average. Volkswagen sound systems though, this is a positive. Volkswagen sound systems, no matter the car, always sound pretty good from factory. So look, I think this is just, it's a meh sound system. It's not terrible, it's not brilliant, so that's all I have to say about that really. In terms of how you can throw it into a corner, let's give it a try, shall we, on this wet weather with no traction control. So approaching this corner at a fair amount of speed. The suspension is the only little letdown, but obviously you want it to be comfortable, so don't go throwing one of these on coilovers. But I mean, look, even with the standard suspension, handles very well around corners, which is always a positive. Because, yeah, if your car doesn't turn around corners, you might have a little bit of a problem there. Drive off, the car's got automatic central locking, so it'll lock all the doors if you go over 20 k's an hour, which is a nice little feature to have. Well, this guy is flying in the Prado. Land Cruiser, same thing. There's not much to say. This is the thing. There's not much to... Volkswagens in general, there's not really much to say about them because they just do everything so well. And I think this car is another one of those cases where they've just gone and done everything really well. for what this car is. I mean, compared to its rivals at the time, Ford Fiesta, you got the Toyota Echo or Yaris at the time, either one. Look, this car's just kind of better than all of them because it's more reliable, it's more fuel efficient. Actually, I'll talk about the fuel efficiency. It's a diesel, of course, and it's a very light car. This car only weighs 1.1 tons, so it's very, very light, which means that it's very fuel efficient. I will get about 800 k's out of it, 35 litre tank. Actually, I think it's a 40 litre tank. 40 litre tank, I'll get 800 k's out of it, which is pretty damn good. You do the math, you'll see just how fuel efficient this damn car is. And yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. I do a lot of driving for work. I drive around a lot for work, so this car's absolutely perfect for that, because I'll go a fortnight driving this car around. I'll do about 800 k's, and I'll pay $60 for fuel because it's got such a small fuel tank and it's so good on fuel and it's so light. So really, if you're after a fuel efficient little car to drive around in, the 1.9 TDI is for you. I cannot recommend it enough. I go around to everyone, I tell them, look, if you want a reliable little runaround car, look no further than the 1.9 TDI Polo, because this thing, it's a beast. It really is a beast. I don't understand why more people don't buy them. Yes, it's a Volkswagen. Yes, you're going to have problems at some point. All cars do, alright? You can't just narrow it down to a Volkswagen. Yes, parts may be a little bit more expensive than the Japanese rivals, but look, it doesn't really matter because I've driven this car, I've owned it for about 6,000 k's. I've had to do one thing on it. That being the, the serpentine belt. One of the pulleys decided to seize, and then the whole belt obviously shredded, so I needed to replace it. But apart from that, there are some things you should look out for when you're buying a 1.9 TDI, which I'm sure you want to do after watching this incredibly comprehensive review about the 1.9 TDI. So, you want to check if the fuel rails are leaking, because that is somewhat common on the 1.9 TDIs. Mine were leaking, and then obviously I got them fixed, so that's all good now. You also want to see when the cam belt was last done, because obviously it's like a timing belt. If it snaps, there goes your engine. So you want to see if the cam belt's been done. I think mine was done about 100,000 k's ago, so it might be due for one soon. It started to rain a little. And then you want to check your injectors. So my injectors are actually all perfect, which is really good. Which means they probably got changed. They probably got changed just before I bought the car, which is quite a good thing to have. And then obviously you just want to check your other things, clutch, brakes, all that. Yeah, he knows I'm here. Let's give him a little bit of the soot. Here we go, crunched it again. You can't shift into third gear in this car without crunching it. It's crazy. And I'm not a terrible manual driver. But yeah, I mean, I think apart from that, there's nothing really else that can go wrong in these cars. Apart from if you really neglect them, then that's when they start to develop problems. But the 1.9 TDI is overall very, very bulletproof engines. I mean, yeah, 1.9 TDI, I can't speak high enough of it. It is a fantastic engine. But anyway, it's really starting to rain here. So what I'm going to do is turn in, and I am just going to thank you for watching the video. And I beg that you purchase yourself a 1.9 TDI, because it will be a decision of yours you will not regret, and your wife might actually love you again if you buy one. So anyway, that's it for the video, and I will see you in the next one.